Hello guys, it is me again, it's HorrorFan34, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to day 11 of my 31 Days of Horror Challenge in October. Now that we are on day 11, sadly I don't have anything to show for this video because I actually don't own the film. I've seen it a lot of times though, and I want to pick up the Arrow Video Blu-ray at some point because that's the version that has like the most features on it and things like that. I've seen the Arrow Video Blu-ray release around, but I haven't got a chance to pick it up. But really would like to get that one day so I can own it in my collection. But if you can tell by the title already, it's going to be on Children of the Corn, the original classic. I mean, what more can you say about Children of the Corn that hasn't been said before? I mean, Children of the Corn is one of those top 80s horror films that I always think of, and especially when it comes to like like killer kids movies, like a movie about like killer kids. This is always the one I always think of the most when it comes to like killer kids, is this movie. Such a well done film, of course, based on the Stephen King novel, which I know Stephen King was not a fan of this version, so then he made his own. He directed the TV remake, I think in like 2009 or 2010. It came out and made for TV, where it was more based on his story, like based more on the novel itself, kind of like what he did with the miniseries of The Shining. Which, to be honest, the movies that were more based on the novel, I wasn't a fan of. I was more of a fan of the other movies. Like, I'm much more of a fan of Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, much rather than more than the miniseries. I was not a fan of the miniseries. Same thing with this movie. I was not a fan of the Children of the Corn remake. That he was more toward his novel for the TV remake. I like this one better because this one had like that aspects of like the corn coming alive and things like that. Like, and that was kind of more throughout the movie, and while in the remake that kind of happened like more towards the end of the movie. But getting into like what the movie's about, Children of the Corn, it's about this town that's been overrun by these kids. Basically, like the lead kid gathers up all these kids and tells them what to do, and basically they killed all the adults in this small town. So now this town is completely decimated, and these kids are hiding out in the cornfield. And basically you have a couple driving through town, played by Peter Horton and Linda Hamilton. Now it was really cool to see. I remember Peter Horton, I believe after this movie, went on to be in, I actually have it right here, went on to be in this movie, Amazon Woman on the Moon, which he's right here. I don't know if you can see that right there. Peter Horton is one of the leads in this movie. So it was really cool to see Peter Horton, and he also directed one of the segments in Amazon Woman on the Moon. But yeah, Peter Horton, of course, Linda Hamilton with Sarah Connor in Terminator 1 and 2, among many other movies. And they're a couple that's driving through the town to get to go somewhere, and they end up getting trapped in this town. Basically, I believe it's anybody who's over the age of 19 they consider an adult, and then they kill them and sacrifice them and things like that. And, I mean, what more can you say about Children of the Corn that hasn't been said before? I mean, Children of the Corn, such a creepy concept when it comes to, like, killer kids. I think the acting in this movie is absolutely fantastic, especially John Franklin and Courtney Gaines as Isaac and Malachi. I mean, John Franklin, who plays Isaac, who's the lead kid, John Franklin does a great job. I know that he's actually like a little person, but like in real life in the movie, I think around the time when the film came out, I think he was like in his early 20s or something like that. But he had like the look of like a kid. And I tell you what, he does a fantastic job as Isaac. John Franklin's creepy as Isaac. Isaac's a really sadistic character, really crazy character. John Franklin just played him perfectly. And then, of course, you have Courtney Gaines as, I guess, his main henchman, subordinate, Malachi. And Courtney Gaines, who plays Malachi, does a great job. And I always remember Courtney Gaines as well from The Burbs with Tom Hanks, among a lot of other stuff. Courtney Gaines does a great job as Malachi, especially that one. He's like, it's forbidden. I love the character of Malachi that Courtney Gaines plays, and those are like the two stars of the film that stand out to me the most. Like Linda Hamilton and Pierre Horton do a great job in them, respectively. But when it comes to like the main highlights of the film for me, for acting wise, it's John Franklin and Courtney Gaines. Both of them just do a fantastic job. Really creepy concept. I love the whole setting in the cornfield. I like the really creepy setting in this abandoned town where they killed all the adults. I think it's directed very, very well. It's beautifully shot. Love the whole angles of the cornfield and things like that. Like I said, Pierre Horton does a great job. Linda Hamilton does a great job. Very solid direction. Really great musical score as well. It's got really good music. Like I said, John Franklin and Courtney Gaines do a great job as Isaac and Malachi. Really great villains of the movie. Really great horror villains of all time, in my opinion. I kind of feel like they're kind of the more underrated, like, horror villains in movies when it comes to, like, horror movies. Isaac and Malachi are, like, really underrated characters when it comes to, like, villains. But, I mean, what more can I say about Children of the Corn that hasn't been said before? It's a classic movie, and to be honest, like, the sequels never really got into much of the sequels. I mean, some of the sequels were okay, like Children of the Corn 2 was decent, Children of the Corn 4 was pretty decent, but other than that, like, Children of the Corn 5 didn't care for, Children of the Corn 6, Isaac's Return, didn't really care for that one. I don't know, it's just like, I kind of feel like this film kind of just didn't need to be a franchise. I think it would have been fine as just one movie, but that's just me. But anyways, that's all I gotta say about Children of the Corn. So, thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you guys next time. You guys take care.